Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today. In this presentation, we will provide an overview of the Ontario Climbing Federation and discuss various aspects of the sport, its governance, participant engagement, and the economic landscape. We will also delve into the organization's role within the sport model, conduct a competitive analysis, evaluate its financial performance, and conclude with the recommendations for improving organizational performance. Let's start off with an overview of sport climbing and the Federation. Sport climbing is a modern discipline that originated from traditional rock climbing in the 19th century. It started off as a recreational activity, and in 1985 it became a competitive sport. There are three different disciplines: boulder, lead, and speed climbing. In all of them, there are permanent anchors that are fixed on an artificial wall, and the sport became popular over the past 2 decades. The Ontario Climbing Federation is the governing body for competitive climbing in the province of Ontario, Canada. Climbing is a dynamic and challenging sport that involves scaling artificial or natural rock formations. The OCF operates at the provincial governance level. Climbing is governed at the national level by Climbing Escalade Canada and at the international governance level by the International Federation of Sport Climbing. In both the CEC and OCF, there are different teams and competitions including bouldering, sport climbing, and speed climbing for participants of all ages and skill levels, and this is governed separately at the national level by the CEC or at the provincial level by the OCF. There are also local climbing gyms that provide equipment and host events and competitions, but are more on the recreational side, such as the Hub Climbing located in Mississauga. Now, when we classified sport climbing, we utilize the sector model and hierarchical model. Sport climbing is a self-organized sport according to the hierarchical model, as individuals tend to go to local gyms to engage in the sport without the utilization of larger organizations that are structured. In terms of the sport model, the OCF fits into the sector model. As a sector organization, the OCF is a non-profit sector representing the interests of high-performance climbers in Ontario, ensuring the ability to provide opportunities and success for those with memberships, making the organization mainly for members. In addition, the OCF follows a more tiered governance system in comparison to sport climbing as a whole, as it is not inclusive to all climbers, but rather focuses on only high-performance climbers, thus showing the focus on the competitive side rather than the recreational side. Now, moving on to the macroeconomics section, sport climbing has shown to have grown rapidly in recent years. The number of participants, both recreational and competitive, has steadily been increasing. There are approximately 10.35 million climbers in the United States compared to 6.3 million in 2006. In addition, the climbing gym market size is expected to grow at a CAGR of 12.5% between the year 2022 and 2027, showing an increase of around $4 million US. This growth is also attributed to factors such as increased indoor climbing facility availability, as in the year 2021, the U.S. saw the highest number of new climbing gym openings. Climbing has also been included in the Olympic Games since 2020, and after COVID, there has been an increased interest in outdoor adventure sports. Now, with the utilization of a pestle analysis, the macroeconomics of the OCF can be facilitated and understood better. Starting off with politics, the Canadian government encourages individuals to be active and healthy for life with recreational sports and physical activity. As for climbing, there are a number of excellent sport climbing crags with routes ranging in difficulty in the mountain national parks and provincial parks encouraging the sport. However, although there is support for the sport and funding provided at the provincial level, such as to the CEC, the funding provided for the sport of climbing is significantly less in comparison to other sports. As for economics, climbing is moderately expensive, as it is estimated that to get into the sport full-time, the cost will be around $500 in gear and $80 per month in gym fees. This brings us to the point of disposable income and discretionary income. The unemployment rate in Canada has risen to 5.2% in May of 2023, after remaining at 5% for the past 5 months. It was also reported that 31% of participants in climbing had a household income of $100,000 or greater, and the rest were distributed evenly across the other income categories. Therefore, this shows that although inflation was increasing, creating more disposable income, this is now coming to an end, which could lead to lower participation rates in the sport. Looking at the social aspect, the influence of the pandemic on climbing is scarce. However, the pandemic has resulted in increased levels of individuals wanting to participate in physical activity and sports, as well as outdoor activities. As mentioned before, sport climbing was first introduced into the Olympics in 2020, helping increase participation levels as well as popularizing the sport. In addition, the concept of climbing being recreational and inclusive towards everyone of different age groups and skill sets aids in increasing levels of participation. Now, under the umbrella of technology, there have been technological advancements in climbing gear, safety equipment, and training techniques that can enhance the overall experience and safety of climbers. In addition, the utilization of digital platforms such as social media, video streaming, and online registration will enhance the OCF's communication, marketing, and event management capabilities. Next is the environmental aspect of the analysis. There are a number of issues related to the use of crags by rock climbers, such as trampling of vegetation, erosion on paths to crags, damage to plants, and disturbance of animal species. These issues are related more so to outdoor climbing, but higher participation of indoor climbing could lead to higher participation of outdoor climbing. Lastly is the legal aspect. The sport of climbing is high risk with limited laws implemented. However, there have been increased safety measures and well-established waivers with safety protocols for participants. Now that we have gone through the macroeconomic portion, the microeconomic section will allow for a closer look at the OCF with the utilization of Porter's 5 analysis. The competitions surrounding the OCF are all the provincial or territorial climbing sport organizations, which are the ACC, FQME, Climb Yukon, ACA, SCBC. However, each one of those organizations focuses on the athletes in their province, leading to a lack of competitive interference between one another. In addition, the organizations being federally incorporated into the CEC results in more collaboration than competitiveness. Now, moving on to the substitute aspect, when looking at the competitive aspect, there are many opportunities to participate in competitions such as the IFSC at the international level or climbing escalade at a national level. There are also informal competitions that are hosted at local gyms. Now, looking at another recreational sports that could be a substitute, there are many outdoor options that could substitute climbing, such as biking, horseback riding, running, and more, which are more on the adventurous side of sports. There are also other indoor recreational activities, such as indoor fitness classes, traditional gyms, and more. While there are alternative sports and recreational activities, such as hiking or indoor fitness classes, they cannot fully replicate the experience and community associated with climbing. Now, looking at the threat of new entrants, the threat of new entrants to the OCF is relatively low. Establishing a climbing federation requires expertise, resources, and credibility. The OCF's position as the governing body for climbing in Ontario, along with its affiliations with Climbing Escalade Canada and the International Federation of Sport Climbing, provides a significant barrier to entry. Additionally, the OCF's established relationships with climbing gyms, event organizers, and sponsors further solidifies their position in the market. The threat of new entrants is more likely to occur at a provincial level, meaning that a climbing federation opens in another province. The supplier power of the OCF includes many local gyms, which help provide areas to host events and competitions. However, the supplier power is moderate due to the high availability of climbing gyms. While there are multiple climbing gyms and equipment manufacturers, the OCF's position as the governing body allows it to establish partnerships and negotiate favorable terms. Next is the customer power. The customers in the case are climbers, participants, and member organizations. The OCF's bargaining power with buyers is relatively low. The climbers and participants cannot be a part of the other provincial organizations if they reside in Ontario. Climbers and participants have limited influence on the OCF's decisions and policies. In addition, the OCF, being a membership organization, help maintain customers due to the investment that they have to make to stay in the organization. In addition, as mentioned before, climbing is expensive and the gear to get started is expensive, making it difficult for customers to switch to a different sport. However, member organizations that participate in the OCF competitions and programs may have some leverage to negotiate participation fees or seek additional benefits. Nevertheless, the OCF's position as the primary governing body gives it control over the sport's rules, standards, and competition opportunities. Overall, the Ontario Climbing Federation benefits from a favorable position in the market, with barriers to entry, established relationships, and strong governing authority. While there may be some competition and negotiation with suppliers and member organizations, the OCF's core product and unique value proposition provides stability and a strong market position. Let's move on to the finances using the management report conducted by the OCF. The statement shows that the OCF faced challenges in 2021 due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, resulting in substantial loss. However, the organization successfully rebounded in 2022, generating higher revenue and improving profitability. The Ontario Climbing Federation has shown a positive financial performance, generating a profit during the period and maintaining a healthy cash position. The organization's income primarily comes from competition-related activities, including memberships and donations. Focusing on the 2022 period, the net cash provided by operating activities is $10,811, indicating positive cash flow from the organization's core operations. In addition, the organization had a net increase in cash of $10,811 during the period, with an ending cash balance of $38,306. Now, when looking at the balance sheet, the organization's total assets amount to $43,452, with cash and cash equivalents being the most significant component. The organization has a minimal current liabilities of $367, primarily accounts payable and credit card balances. The equity section shows retained earnings and the profit for the year, contributing to a total equity of $43,084. Based on the management analysis provided, here are 3 recommendations to enhance the management of the Ontario Climbing Federation. Diversify revenue streams. While the OCF's financial performance has improved, it still heavily relies on competition-related activities for revenue generation. To enhance financial stability and reduce dependence on a single income source, the OCF should explore diversifying its revenue streams. This could include expanding sponsorship opportunities, developing partnerships with outdoor gear manufacturers, offering educational programs or workshops, and exploring grants and funding from government or private organizations. By diversifying revenue streams, the OCF can create a more sustainable financial model and reduce vulnerability to external factors. Secondly, is to enhance member engagement and participation. As a membership organization, the OCF should focus on improving member engagement and participation. This can be achieved by offering a range of programs and initiatives to cater to climbers of all skill levels and age groups, including recreational climbers. The OCF can organize regular workshops, training sessions, and events that promote skill development, community building, and overall enjoyment of the sport. Additionally, fostering a strong sense of inclusivity and providing opportunities for member input and involvement in decision-making processes can further enhance member engagement and satisfaction. Thirdly is to strengthen marketing and outreach efforts. To attract new climbers and increase participation rates, the OCF should invest in robust marketing and outreach strategies. This can involve leveraging digital platforms and social media channels to promote the sport of climbing, share inspiring stories and achievements of climbers, and provide information about the OCF programs, events, and membership benefits. The OCF can also collaborate with climbing gyms, local outdoor organizations, and other stakeholders to organize joint promotional activities, introductory workshops, or climbing festivals. By increasing the visibility and awareness of the OCF and the sport of climbing, the organization can attract new climbers, expand its membership base, and contribute to the growth of the sport. Overall, by implementing these recommendations, the Ontario Climbing Federation can strengthen its management practices, increase revenue streams, improve member engagement, and enhance its overall impact and sustainability within the climbing community in Ontario. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for listening and looking forward to your feedback.